and so today we are going to be speaking about missing flight MH370 or MH370. I'm going to call it MH370 just because I find it easier. So this was a Malaysian airline and this was a daily flight to Beijing in China. It was carrying 239 people from 14 different countries, and there were actually 12 Malaysian staff on board as well. So this happened on the 8th of March 2014 when it went missing. When in the sky and en route, a plane actually passes imaginary markers. So these are called waypoints. So the flight actually passed waypoint Igari and passed into Vietnamese airspace. So they signed off from Malaysian airspace, however they never actually got in contact with Vietnamese air traffic control. So the Vietnamese tried to contact the flight, however it disappeared from the radar, so they couldn't reach the flight via voice recording or text message system which they have on planes. So air traffic turned to the airline for answers, and the aircraft had no technical problems which they found from on the ground. The airline actually asked other pilots in the sky to try and contact the flight, however they got no response from MH370. So 5 hours after the flight went missing, they decided to officially launch the emergency, and Malaysia was asking China if the flight had landed there and to keep them updated. However, it got to 6 AM and still no flight had landed in China. So this was when the airline took action and decided to inform the Malaysian Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister immediately launched a search and rescue and said that if it had crashed, it would have been one of the deadliest in aviation history. So the last contact with flight MH370 was at 1:30 AM on the 8th of March 2014, and the engineering department actually recorded for an additional 6 hours. This was through a satellite from a British company. So the hope was that the satellite could actually track the plane. However, this had never been done before, and the British company said that they would try their best, but they weren't sure it was possible. So because the flight disappeared from the normal radar, actually a military radar picked it up and said that they had seen it in its last known location. So they said it had actually headed back on its route and across peninsular Malaysia towards Penang Island. So an additional search was requested by the Prime Minister. However, they had to continue their search in China Sea before the additional search could be conducted. So Vietnam, the Philippines and China, as well as Indonesia, actually offered to help with the search. The US Air Force and Koreans also ended up helping as news spread of the missing flight. There were 42 ships and 39 aircraft from 12 different countries that engaged in the search, and for 3 days there were absolutely no developments. The press went on the attack for the government and the searches were getting wider and wider. The satellite then made a breakthrough, so they said they may be able to tell the airline where the aircraft was. So the aircraft did definitely, it was confirmed at this point that it did turn back on itself and head towards Penang Island. However, it didn't stop there. It actually carried on flying for 6 hours after until fuel ran out. So at this point there were suspicions of hijacking. So then the police inquiries were launched. So there's a recorder box in every plane in the cockpit, and this actually records the last 2 hours of any flight. This is what they were looking for, and they deduced that this must be in one of 2 areas. However, each area was actually over 1 million square kilometers each, so that's a ridiculous amount of space to search. So the existing search that was going on in the China Sea was immediately called off, and the Prime Minister finally had facts to share with the press. So 30 nations were now involved in the search. The Malaysian Prime Minister called all the world leaders that were involved, and he asked them to search their airspace because it'd be quicker than searching on the ground. So there was a northern arc and a southern arc to search. All the world leaders that were contacted from the northern arc said that the flight had not been seen on their radars. The satellite company found that MH370 had actually gone to the south arc, and that's why the flight wasn't being seen on the northern arc radars. So the south arc was where they hoped that the flight would not have been, because it was all sea and it was very choppy sea as well, very dangerous to land in. The chances of survival when landing in that sea would have been very, very slim. So then the Prime Minister actually had to inform the families. They think the plane was last in the South Indian Ocean, and China and Australia actually joined the search to help find flight MH370. In July 2015, MH370's wing actually washed up in Madagascar. They ran loads of tests and found it to be the wing of MH370. So during this search, there's been 4 shipwrecks found, but no aircraft. And in January 2017, sadly, after no new evidence coming to light, the search was sadly suspended. In January 2018, the aircraft was found to most likely be in the north part of the original search area. So now an American company has been hired to search for the aircraft, and currently the search continues. So this is a recent development, and I just wanted to cover it in this video because I'm not sure that that's common knowledge. This is a really weird mystery, and some people have said it could be a conspiracy theory, some people have said aliens. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe, and also you can find me on Twitter. That's it for me today, guys, and thanks for watching.